Today we're looking at the PowerTac Huntsman XLT. Has the battery indicator, has the little magnetic charging feature here, has a CLUPM1 OSRAM that has a very long, deep reflector for stupid levels of throw. It has an attachable belt clip, and when I say attachable, it's on there. It's not one of these that's going to pop off. You'd have to unscrew it to take it off. But of course, I will get to that in a minute. One of the big features of this light, and the reason I ended up inquiring about it, was because it has not just a momentary on, but a switch clicky here. You use it and it can, it's a mode switch when the light is on and a instant strobe feature when the light is off. And that clip is secured there, man. You can't even, it's hard to even use it, so solid, which is good because I've had a lot of lights where the more I use them, the more loose and worthless and chintzy the switch becomes. So this is sold for hunters, so people who like to go out and hunt buffalo and deer, and I understand the light is available with different shades. You can get a blue or a green or a red beam for ease of access. Just to give you an idea of the size here, it is quite long, which is one of the, to me, pretty not desirable. We're going to go over the UI in just a second here. But this is honestly, it's frustrating because it's too long for pocket carry. It will tail stand very nicely, and it's got so much going for it. One of the things that it perpetually reminds you of is the fact that this steel is ready to not cut you, but it feels very much solid, and it feels so much that it's rough. If you're having a day where your skin feels sensitive, you will definitely know it when you grab this, which is actually good. Even though it's quite heavy, it's good because you know that it's in your hand, and even when your hands are shaky and sweaty and you're doing some crazy task, then you won't drop the light, and that is something that for me scores a number of points. Again, CLUPM1 OSRAM. This is actually very smooth reflector, as you can see, and you're looking at quite a light. So as far as the specs go, we have the case. I'll just show you what it has, and then the trendy looking little charger here. You have what looks to me suspiciously like an ultra shit battery, but add to the fact that this came DOA. So yeah, we're already getting into the negatives. Just to spoil this for you, I had to replace it with one of my own Sony 30Q 21700s. And we have the battery blocker, and we have the little thingy that goes on telling you that there's a battery blocker. And these people really do love their fan base. I mean, here you have these, and you get more out of your light, more O-rings, more lanyards, and then you have bumper stickers, freaking stickers. You know, so this is crazy, man. They're very enthusiastic on their lights, and they want you to be too. Look at this case. Look how badass this case is. It's perfect size. It's like something Olight would do. So let's look at these specs. We have 1200 lumens, and then we have up to max 20-day runtime, 1,000 meters. Yes, you read correctly, 1,000 meters. Impact resistant down to a 1 meter, and then 2 meters of waterproofing, so IXP8, which is a good deal. Simple on-off button, secondary mode function, direct to strobe feature, 5 modes. So let me tell you, there is a lot to love here. That said, here's more. If you want to read more, you can see the emitter type. You can see the different modes, and if you want to pause this, as usual, you can take a look. Illumination, 7 days at 20 days at 7 lumens, 24.6 hours at 60 lumens, 5.5 hours at 280 lumens, and or 260 lumens, and then 690 lumens for 3.2 hours. Turbo is 3 hours at 1200 lumens. In my experience, the light gets hot, it does not step down. At least I have no indicator that it does. Battery goes from blue when charged to red. So there is quite a lot here. Especially the fact that you get all of this with your product, it means they are very serious, which they freaking should be, because they're charging over $170 for this.
$187?
Yeah. They really screw you, don't they?
You heard correctly, $170. This light will set you back quite a bit, so it better do everything from the dishes and more. In addition to lighting up your yard, which it will do. But unfortunately, I'm gonna be sending this one back. And let me tell you why. One, I don't like getting a light with a battery that is DOA. It never lit up, it's completely a dud. So that's the first thing. For this price range, no, you do not send me a dud. Otherwise, I'm sending it back. But secondly, you guessed it, the UI, the switch. There is something not well about the way the switch was designed. Now, there's nothing defective here. It's just the fact that the switch has momentary on, but it doesn't feel like any switch you've ever used. It's like an electronic clicky, which doesn't make a lot of sense. So if I try to light it up momentarily, it resists me and there's not much runway, and then it goes back off. So you really have to push it in really good and let up to use momentary. Push it in and let up. Now, if you want to turn it on, you do that fast. So far, so good, right? Well, not really, because as you go around using it, when you do use it momentarily, you can't click it on. You have to click it again. You have to let the light go off and then click it back in. And remember to bring it out. And of all the times I've been using this, I've been finding how hard it is to actually use this and keep it on. Otherwise, if you release any pressure, the light goes back off. And the runway here is so small that you never can tell. And listen to the way it sounds. So it's like you're pushing this up against a metal wall in there, and it gives you no real feedback other than the sound for what you're using. This is completely uninspiring. See, I meant to use momentary there and it clicked on. It's not consistent, which is why this is a big deal. So you have to decisively move your thumb in and out, in and out, in and out to use the momentary feature. And then, of course, you have to hear that ugly, awful sound, which I would forgive if it were just that. But it's the fact that it's just not a very inspiring user experience. I like the mode memory, don't get me wrong, I do. But unfortunately, I'm never going to use a light like this. Despite its amazing throw, despite its amazing beam, it has very low spill of any of the major throwers I've ever played with. And the beam itself has a few artifacts in it. Not judging too hard on that. I'm just judging on the fact that you're paying so much for a light, but you really are not. You're really not getting a whole lot. Nothing really is gonna. You're getting a lot, and in terms of quality, I'm sure, but you're not going to get a very good user experience. I would much rather pay for a Phoenix at $100 less and get even better quality and much better UI. So that's my issue here, folks. As if it even mattered at this point. Let's take it out and play around with it. Okay, friends, and by way of wrapping up, we are just going to point out that this is could be potentially really a great light. I think for the most part it is. For me, it is not. Maybe that's the best way to say this. I tend to want a particular feel of a light. Does that make me a snob? Put in the comments if you think that I'm on the wrong track on this. Maybe you have the light and you really like it and you think I'm off base. And put in the comments exactly what you would make of my comments here. With me, it has all of the markings of something great, but it's like a stiff. This is the flashlight equivalent to that girl that you dated in middle school or high school, and you couldn't quite explain it until later, but you felt like she was your sister more than your girlfriend. It's right, but it's not right. It has a lot of winning marks, but it's not something you're going to want to actually use. So anyways, this one personally is going back. For what they're asking for it, I expected more. So you guys have a good night.